Today's video is sponsored by Aerolo. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, this is my very cheap Bentley Continental that I bought for just £5,000. It's a 2004 GT Continental and it's done 120 something thousand miles, but it's got quite a few issues. As you'll have seen in the first video, there's an engine light on, it's misfiring, there's an issue with the brakes, I think there was a brake judder. I bought this a few months ago and it's just been sitting around at my mechanics. I just haven't had time to deal with it, and now of course it's got a low battery. There's a leak from the power steering system, and there's also a leak from the radiator. So there's quite a big bill looming on this. But I thought today what I'm going to do is unwrap it. It's got this hideous, it's supposed to look like Bentley's Moroccan blue, which is a really nice colour, but this is a hideous cheap wrap. Underneath this, someone's already started to peel this, or I don't know, it's just started to peel anyway. Underneath you can see its original colour, which is a nice metallic grey colour. So what I'm going to do today is completely unwrap this like a Terry's chocolate orange. Now I've done this job long enough to know that there are only two reasons that you'd wrap a car. One is to protect the nice paintwork underneath, but this has done 120,000 miles. The service history stopped 10 years ago and someone's done the wheels black, so I don't think it's that. Or two, they're trying to cover up a mess. And I suspect it's the latter. So I really don't know what we're going to find under this wrap. I'm expecting it to look like a VW Polo Harlequin. I'm expecting loads of different coloured panels. I really don't know. The very best case scenario really is that somebody was trying to cover up like a key scratch or something like that. But until we unwrap it, I really don't know. In another video, I took this to We Buy Any Car. That's featured on the more high peak channel, like the Mark II channel of ours. And they offered me, I think it was about £2,200. So quite a substantial loss. But they did say they'd offer, I think they'd increase their offer by £1,700 if I took it to them unwrapped. For some reason, they just have this set fee. If a car's wrapped, they knock off £1,700. So I thought, well, worst case, if I can sort the engine light and the wrap, then I could get my money back. It's worth a try, isn't it? I've got this back in the showroom now, so we're out with the elements. I'm armed with a new heat gun that I bought from B&Q and a wallpaper stripper and some enthusiasm. I've got no experience here, by the way. The only time I've used a wallpaper stripper before was to take off some wood chip. So I don't know how this is going to go. I suppose then, I've been putting this job off long enough, haven't I? May as well get started. First things first then, let's get some power. Now when I was driving to work this morning, I was trying to form a plan of attack. I didn't realise somebody had started to unwrap this already. But what I was going to do was start off on this door arm here, on this door frame, because they haven't done a proper job really, and you can see where the wrap started to peel back. So I thought that, you know, logically is the place to start. Forgive me here, by the way, because I'm not the most practical man in the world. I think we'll start up here then, shall we? What we're going to do then is apply some heat. I have spoken to a couple of people, by the way, who do this for a living. So that if we apply some heat and some steam, let's try and get it going. See what we're left with. It's quite a big car, this, isn't it? Well, you know what, though? This is... I don't want to speak too soon, Steve, but this is coming. Dave at Tameside Detailing, by the way, who does this occasionally, I don't think it's his favourite job in the world, he just advised me to go slow with it, otherwise you'll end up ripping the paint off or the lacquer. I don't want to do that. This is going to look so good, you know. That grey colour is such a nicer colour than this horrible blue. Just thinking any job like this is all about the preparation, isn't it? And I've done none. See, I'm going to struggle with things like the trim, because this has obviously had the trim off and the wrap goes under the trim. The other thing is, because this isn't a cheap, I mean, this is a cheap Bentley, but because parts are really expensive, I don't want to start taking this trim off incorrectly and then break something, because parts are very expensive. The trouble is, a bit like a roll of sellotape this, when you get a break in it, you've got to try and start it all over again. I'm going to change my surname to Armstrong, I think. We're starting to make progress now, guys. This is going to look so much better. Literally adding value here. I'm losing skin on my fingers, but we're adding value. The trouble is, I think, when you apply too much heat, it goes too soft. So the trick, as I'm discovering, is not too much heat. tell you what, that, when the wheels are done silver as well at Prestige, is going to look really good. It's actually a really nice colour, this. I think if I were buying a brand new Bentley, I'd order this colour. I don't know why someone's ruined it with this silly, hideous wrap. Well, so far, there's no damage. If this were, well, I don't want to speak too soon, but if it were keyed, you'd expect it to be at sort of waist height, wouldn't you? This is quite satisfying, you know. My next job then is to try and get into the boot. Now, this has never opened for me. My mechanic's diagnosed it as needing a new locking mechanism. You're supposed to push the Bentley badge there and it pops open, but it's currently not working. I really need to pop that open just to finish this area. Apparently there's some sort of manual override. There's some sort of release pulley or something that I need to pull behind the back seats there, so I'll try and figure that out. Obviously I need to get into the boot because ultimately I need it for luggage. This car wasn't just built to admire in the showroom. My plan with this is to take it on a big, long Euro trip. That's what it was built for, really. But before we get onto that, I just need to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Aerolo. Whenever I go on a trip, staying connected is really important, whether that's to use my sat-nav, emails, work emails, online banking, all that sort of stuff. It's really important. And I'm always worried about racking up massive roaming charges or, you know, using dodgy airport Wi-Fi. Plus, I don't want to get into the habit of swapping SIM cards because that's just a bit of a hassle. That's where today's video sponsor comes in. Aerolo is the world's first and leading eSIM store, covering over 200 countries and regions. This means wherever I take this cheap Bentley, whether it's France, Germany, Italy, I'll have reliable mobile data from the second I arrive. And the best part is it's really affordable and you don't need to swap SIMs or change your number. All you need to do is download the Aerolo app, choose your destination, pick your plan, install your eSIM and then activate it on arrival. Having a reliable, cost-effective connection while you're away makes a huge difference. It means you can FaceTime your family, do your online banking, deal with work stuff, all that sort of stuff. And you don't need to stress about coming back home to a whopping bill. It couldn't be better. So if you've got a trip coming up, all you need to do is download the Aerolo app and use my promo code HighPeakAutos3 and you'll get $3 off your first eSIM. I'll also leave the link below in the video description. Anyway, let's get back to unwrapping my cheap Bentley. Can't wait to get this on the road. I don't know when this was wrapped. If it's had a wrap for about 10 years, the paintwork might actually be in really good order. I don't want to count my chickens yet, but it's looking that way. This is going to be the real time-consuming part. All these little bits here that are stuck on, covered by trim. I'm going to try and coax them off. As daft as this sounds, I'll be a little bit disappointed if I don't find any damage. So far there isn't any. It's in really good shape. To be fair, anything that I save on the bodywork means that there'll be a bit more in the budget to fix the W12, which is very poorly at the moment. I think I've sussed out the misfire anyway. I think one of the banks of the engine is over-fueling. There's a load of build-up of carbon and stuff. So somewhere there's a bit of an issue. There's an issue with the core plug. So as soon as it's been unwrapped, I said that I'd run it back down there and get that sorted. The radiator, I think we can get that refurbished apparently, because new ones are very expensive. So that's not too big of a job. But my mechanic still said that the engine might have to come out, which I don't really want to do, to be honest. We're into major cost then. Just done a similar thing on my S5 and it's like 32 hours work. So if we can avoid getting the engine out, I'll be quite happy. I was umming and ahhing about taking this to a Bentley specialist. I just don't really know of any. I thought if I took it to a Bentley specialist, they might be able to diagnose it straight away and get to it and save me some money ultimately. But then my mechanic's quite up for doing the work, so we'll see. Honestly, that's looking so much better. I was embarrassed to drive this before. One thing Dave did warn me about at Tameside Detailing was when you start to do this, it'll take the skin off your fingers. Just with, I don't know whether it's the heat or the adhesive or what, and he wasn't wrong. Not that I'm complaining, because to be fair, this is the most manual work I've done in about 5 years. I'm struggling with the bonnet now, to be honest. I don't know why, it just seems to be more stuck down than the rest. My bonnet struts, which I thought had been replaced, haven't, hence the broom. There's one good thing, I'm glad it's not a flying spur. Glad we've only got 2 doors and not 4. Well, I've nearly finished the bonnet and it's looking pretty good. In fact, it looks like I've got a knockoff Rolls-Royce Wraith. Quite like it actually. But yet again, there's no damage. Apart from my fingers and thumbs. They're a mess, full of blisters. But yeah, there's no damage to the paintwork. Which just begs the question, why did somebody ruin it in the first place? Why? This has been the biggest pain actually, the bonnet, and I wonder if there's some science behind it. Because you've got a big 6-litre W12 engine under it, I wonder if the heat from the bonnet or heat from the engine compartment is sort of stuck on this vinyl a bit more than the other panels. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds plausible, doesn't it? Well, we've now unearthed like 4 body panels, and so far there's not a single bit of damage, which I'm a bit suspicious of, to be honest. You probably don't want to see me unwrap the whole thing because that might not be the most riveting viewing. So leave me to it, and I'll have an update for you tomorrow, hopefully when it's nice and grey. Well, take a look at my cheap Bentley Continental GT. I can't believe it's the same car. It looks incredible. I've now finally unwrapped it all by myself with absolutely no help from anyone else, and it looks incredible. I kept expecting to find damage under the wrap, but there just isn't any. The paint's in unbelievable condition. I need to say a big thank you to the lads at Tameside Detailing because they, of course, unwrapped the car for me. I did some of it, of course, as you saw on camera, but I was starting to get blisters on my fingers, so I sent it to Tameside Detailing instead. They've done a really good job. While it was there, they've also buffed the headlamps and they've come up looking like new. I honestly can't believe it's the same car that had that horrible cheap blue wrap on it. In fact, I say cheap wrap. The lads at Tameside Detailing said that it was quite an expensive wrap. They know that because it was quite good quality vinyl. Usually, apparently, when they unwrap a car, it can break off in little bits. It gets brittle over time, but this didn't. It was coming off in big sheets. I was honestly expecting to see some vandal scratches on this, or, you know, an odd panel, or a red wing mirror, or a red boot lid, or something like that, but it's absolutely mint. I've had a bit of a result with this because actually the wrap has sort of preserved the paint. So there's almost no wear or anything. There are a few stone chips on the front bumper, which is to be expected, but apart from that, the whole car is pretty immaculate. Now, my next job was to get the wheels refurbished. I'm going to take it over to Prestige Wheels in Bredbury and have them powder coated in silver. I'm not a big fan of black wheels, and against this grey, it just doesn't suit it at all. So I'm going to get those refurbished and powder coated silver, so it should look really classy. That was my whole intention with this car all along, to try and get it looking classy again. The whole cheap blue wrap and black wheels look very Facebook Marketplace spec. Excuse the wind noise, by the way, it's very blowy out here. You might think I've done this in the wrong order, you know, sorting out the cosmetics before I sort out the mechanical bits. And you'd be right, I have. But in my mind, I thought before I spend thousands of pounds on it getting it working right, I want to know that it looks right underneath the wrap. So I've kind of done it in an order which makes sense to me. At least it looks pretty now. And that's the most important thing, isn't it? I even quite like the cinnamon interior. I think it works well against the grey. I'm well impressed with this. So thank you to the lads at Tameside Detailing for sorting this out for me. I'm sure I could have done it myself, but it would have taken me days and days. And of course, while it was there, they've given it a full valet as well. So the interior has come up looking really nice. So I think that's about it. I'm going to head over to Prestige Wheels now and get the wheels done. And then from there, I'm going to take it back to my mechanics and then massively overspend on it and get it working again. Like I say, right now, it's just not firing on all 12. And yeah, I'll leave that for another video. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. Check out Aerolo. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.